Hey everyone, this is Carla R. Jenkins. Welcome to an all new episode of Projectized, the Project Management Show. And I wanted to do an episode on phase reopening and effective communication. Why? Because 75% of your job and 90% of your job, and what's important right now, is communication as a project manager. Hey, Slim Shady, thank you for joining. So I wanted to do this because I felt that it was very necessary. I'm doing well. It was very necessary to discuss phase reopening as it pertains to communication. So one of the reasons why phase reopenings are so cumbersome is because it's hybrid communication. So you're caught in between offline and online communication. And that's why it's so tricky for people. So I wanted to use this episode as an opportunity to discuss it and talk about how you can overcome it. And I will use an example because people and workers just want to know what's required of them. So that's why I'm doing this show. So, two things you as a worker should ask: what percent of this space reopening will be offline versus online? So, right now, say for instance, it's 100% online and you're starting reopening and doing your offline store. So, and then two, the second thing is the time period. So time period in project management means days, weeks, or months. So applying this to a restaurant, say right now you're 100% online. Now you're phasing at 10% a month, and which is answering those two questions. So what you know right now as a worker is that until month 5, the priority or the majority of your money and your work will be online, decreasing at a rate of 10% every single month. And so every single month, you will be reviewing your progress and your response to social distancing and coronavirus and see how effective your social distancing practices are, whatever you need to tweak in your income, etc. So now the example. So as I mentioned, for the restaurant phase in at 10% going from online to offline every month. Also, uh, like I mentioned before, you still going to have a majority of online work, but it steadily decreases. The second thing that confuses a lot of people about phase reopenings and hybrid communication styles is that employers, especially since we're talking about restaurants, it can also be beauty salons, barbershops, is that a lot of these storefronts never had an online component before. And so now they have to account for it as part of their communication channels and their communication strategies. Thanks for coming in. And that's why I'm using the example of the restaurant, because restaurants, barbershop, and beauty salons are mostly 100% offline and in stores. So now that you have to, account for your online delivery service because you were allowed to do takeout, that's a partnership. Also in project management, that's a new stakeholder that you're talking about. And you probably have opened up your own online store where you're selling your own sauces and stuff, and now gift cards. So regarding the phase reopening communication model, it now has to incorporate the new online component as a communication channel, whereas before you were strictly offline. And yes, you did something like open table or an online reservation, but it was the understanding that the only way to get service from this restaurant was to physically go in, or to physically go in and order carry out. We know now that's no longer the case. Now, in addition to, say, an online reservation system, you're now having online delivery services such as um, Grubhub, Seamless, Postmate, Try Caviar, um, DoorDash. Now you have to include that as the communication channels. So hopefully, with this example of asking the two questions, which is as an employee, what percent for the phase in will you be going from online to offline? And then also, what's the time period? Are you doing 10% or 20% every week, every month? And that's how you can also manage expectations, which is a significant part of communications if you are studying project management. So I wanted to do that about phase reopenings and handling the hybrid project communications and how to communicate effectively, especially since you're going from 100% online, rephasing out, going back into the offline, and how to handle that in your communication strategy. So, as always, I would like to thank all live and replay viewers, and I always shout out the people, some of the people who come online. So, since I've done, I believe, YouTube Live and Periscope, I will shout out Slim underscore Shady underscore 27, as well as D Hodges, which is on Instagram Live, D Hodges on YouTube Live, and Louisa Kinosi on Periscope for watching me live. I greatly